Hey guys, this is Tiffany.
And Erica?
Hi Erica.
Hi.
We're the Nerdettes, and we're here to talk about Star Trek Discovery, because we both just watched it, and it's unusual, of course, because it's actually on the internet. It's streaming on the internet for you to watch with CBS All Access, and so the first two episodes just came out, and thank goodness the first two did, because I would have been dying if they left it hanging where the first episode did. So it still has a major cliffhanger in a way, but not as bad as it would have had it just been one episode. So the first episode is called The Vulcan Hello.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead. Spoilers, clearly.
Yeah, clearly spoilers. Lots of spoilers.
Like, we are giving you fair warning now.
Well, I mean, we can review it just in a non-spoiler way, maybe, at first.
Okay, so how do you want to do that?
Okay, so we'll talk about just, overall, I would say that, when we compare it to the classic Trek of old, it does have its own standing. I mean, they've amped up the cinematography for sure. The film
quality is amazing.
Yes,
holy crap.
There's actually been some flack and some pushback from some Trekkers or Trekkies, whatever you prefer. And there's been some pushback because it does have that movie-like quality, and they feel like they're trying to make it too Hollywood. But a lot of shows now have become so much more detailed.
Has anybody never seen The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine? Those were, especially compared to the original series, those were very, very well. I mean, I thought production value was pretty high for its time period.
Yeah, and I mean this is, with so many shows out there that have this beautiful, picturesque, scenery and quality. Yes. It's got to hold its own, and especially being a paid subscription in the United States.
They have to make it worth it.
They have to make it worth the price you pay. So, I mean, already you get some amazing actors, and there's been some debate on that, which we'll get to. And, but...
Make my other eye twitch.
I would say, like, the opening they have is very unique. It's not like your standard opening. They have updated it to modern society.
It honestly reminds me a little bit of Firefly because of the writing and stuff.
There's scripts. Well, I mean, and you see like a silhouette or like almost like a fleeting image of like the ships, the weapons, the symbols. You see hands. You see the comms, like the like maybe the phaser.
Phaser, you had it.
Yeah, and just different things like that, I guess. So you do see that in passing during the opening credits. The music is very good. Obviously, music. Would you, though, just in general, say that you recommend it?
Okay. So...
Without spoiling anything.
Without spoiling anything. I will say that I thought it was very well done on its own. I mean, it's supposed to be a standalone. So you have to understand it is a spin-off, just like Next Generation, just like Deep Space Nine, just like Voyager. It is a spin-off. So you have to understand that going into it. And I think a lot of people just hate spin-offs. They don't like...
Yes.
And that's fine. That's your opinion. But I thought it was actually really good. I don't appreciate the paywall.
Yeah.
That is really the only negative thing I have to say about the whole thing, which is saying a lot because it's nothing to do with the show. It's nothing to do with the acting. It's nothing to do with the plot. It's nothing to do with the writing. It is something completely different from that. So I think without that, I would have been a lot happier. Because I know we talked about this, ourselves, that outside of the United States, they were able to get it on Netflix.
Yes.
I pay for Netflix, so I was
too.
a little bit upset. Yeah, and so does she. And so I was a little bit upset because I said, okay, I'm already paying for Netflix. Why can't we just have it on here? Why do I have to get yet another subscription to another thing just to be able to watch a show? Because, and I think I told you, for American Gods, I paid,
for Stars.
very, very happily paid Prime and Stars, because Prime is used for shipping as well, also for music, and Stars had oh my God, like an endless amount of TV shows, movies, all kinds of other things that you could watch. And so I felt, and American Gods is the greatest thing in the history of the universe. So if you haven't seen it, please do that. But I felt like all those things together made it worth the money. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And to be fair, I probably should look around a little bit more because I didn't navigate the site. But CBS Access, I don't know what all they're offering aside from Discovery. Well,
and there's actually quite a few shows on there. I did see in the menu.
Okay.
This isn't the only one, but it's obviously the main one I'll be watching on this particular app. But there are some other ones out there. Yeah, and
I just want to see if we can find the list.
I think for me, I'm not 100% sold on the main actress yet. Who, I mean, she was great in The Walking Dead.
Sonequa Martin Green, or Green, is it Green Martin or Martin Green?
One of those.
It was Martin Green. But she plays Sasha on The Walking Dead, if you guys watch that show. And I thought she did an amazing job there and on Discovery.
Yeah, she did the best she could with what she was given, I'm sure. Yeah. It's just, I'm not 100% sold on her as a main character yet in this kind of a show. I mean, I liked her character in Walking Dead. Just, I don't know, I feel like her acting, again, I'm sure she kind of acted based on what she was given, yet again, with the director or what have you, but I feel like, I don't know, there's something this is maybe missing for me with her. I haven't gotten that. Again, this is just 2 episodes in. So maybe, I haven't built that bond with her quite yet that I feel like I definitely want to have with a character in this type of show. And I'm obviously reviewing the Orville, so we will have some kind of parallels that we'll talk about versus the Star Trek Discovery versus the Orville, and just talk about it. So
I did look up the CBS Access just to see what all else was there. Apparently, pretty much everything on CBS. So if you miss a show, if you, certain episodes, if you want to go, because I think they have different. Yeah. After Trek, American Gothic. There's a Beauty and the Beast. Beverly Hills 90210.
That's still around, y'all.
Yep. But yeah, there's actually a ton of stuff. It says they have over 9,000 episodes to watch. So, that's pretty impressive. And apparently they're going to be doing more original content because it says exclusive access to originals, plural. So that makes me think, The Good Fight, No Activity are on the way.
Oh.
Okay. So basically they're doing Netflix. Essentially that's... Well, they're
Netflix, trying to be competitive.
Well, Netflix, Hulu, Prime all have original content now.
Exactly.
So, I guess they just wanted to do it their way. But, and just to kind of elaborate on what you were saying, and maybe I'm a little bit biased, maybe a little bit, because I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, even though...
We both are.
Well, and there's a lot of people that keep asking me, why do you still watch that? I quit watching that, a few seasons back, and I'm just because I love it.
Negan.
Don't even lie. I think you mean Daddy. Never mind. Anyway, that's a different discussion for another channel. Anyways, so what was I saying?
We'll rank it by blowjob. No, I'm kidding.
That video was going to happen.
Reference,
that video is going to happen now.
Go to our Scotch box.
You just giving me a really good idea. You just give me a really good idea.
Oh God. Okay. Anyway, back to the review.
She was on The Walking Dead, and she was Sasha, and at first you didn't really see a whole lot of her, and then all of a sudden it was like, you got this huge, all of a sudden she's there all the time, and you got her backstory, and you actually got a story arc with her, a couple times, or at least a few times, actually, and I thought she was amazing, and I was so excited to see that she was doing another show. I was like, oh, I know her. I know she's on The Walking Dead. So I went into it
There's
with
one scene specifically that I liked with her, and all I'll say is her using her intelligence to outwit something is really...
On which show? Because
Discovery.
She kind of... I was going to say, because she does it on both, really.
Yeah, no, there's a specific scene that I felt like I really enjoyed with her.
Both of these characters, I feel, kind of have that... they're very smart, and it's almost like they're too smart. Especially Discovery. On Discovery, I kind of feel like she's too smart, and I have a feeling that's going to be dangerous later.
And we'll be spoiling why she's so smart here shortly, but that pretty much wraps up our non-spoiler review.
So...
I mean,
I guess it's like half spoiler, because it's really hard. It really, like, that's why I said...
It's so hard.
And I feel that it's really hard to talk about pretty much any show or movie to give any kind of objective review without at least spoiling it a little bit, because you're gonna have to at least say one or two details, and everybody's definition of spoilers is different.
It's very different, yes.
So
it's hard to kind of
classify it all as
pick that barrier. It is. A lot of it is spoilers. I will say that, if you are a classic, Trek, you are by the books, give it a shot. I mean, see what
Thank you.
See what
That's
you
what I keep trying to tell people about everything. At least give it a chance.
I definitely want to give it, a few more episodes before I even say, oh, I don't like her. Some people are already flat out, I don't like her, this is ridiculous, whatever.
And it went a little beyond that. It's
always going to be that way, because it's like, just like with the Doctor, just like with any new iteration of any show out there, there's always going to be pushback with change. And
that's my point, is they're not remaking the original series. This is its own thing.
Yeah, just and like it's not a carbon copy.
Right. So I don't understand why everybody is so upset about this, because nobody got upset about Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. You know
what I mean.
You know what I meant. You know what I meant.
Yeah.
You know what I meant.
Okay.
You know what I meant.
But
Miss Semantics over here. Miss Semantics. But anyway, I don't understand, because I never saw Deep Space Nine. I will just go ahead, and I never saw Voyager. Sue me. You have. But I've seen the entire original series and the entirety of the Next Generation. Those were the two that I got through. But still, even with that, even if I had seen them all, I don't understand I don't know, it's like the intensity of it is like, I'm just like, why are you so angry?
Well, it's
awful.
You have, and again, you have those people that, this doesn't follow the canon as much as they would like, or whatever.
And that I can understand, but like, people were attacking her as a person.
Oh God,
and that's
no.
That is
or
never
as an actress,
okay.
Or
yeah,
her
that
profession.
Too.
But what you have to keep in mind, it doesn't matter which actor or actress it is. They have a director
and a writer
that gives them a specific character, a specific portrayal that they want them to do, and that's all they can do. And they do it to the best of their abilities.
That's why it's called acting,
and it's a profession. So, but but we are going to get into spoiler territory very soon here. So, if you don't want spoilers, please go ahead and just. Make sure
door's over there.
Make sure you subscribe. We appreciate you watching. Anyways, we will get into spoiler territories, but we have a lot more reviews and unboxings and a giveaway that we'll be announcing later. So look for those videos, please, and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Nerdettes. And thank you for those who have watched and don't want spoilers. We appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we will be talking to people that do want spoilers now. Bye, other people.
3, 2, 1 spoilers, and we've warned you. And please don't spoil it if you don't want spoilers.
Past this point, you are at your own risk. Okay, your risk right there.
Yep.
You, that person. So,
danger, Will Robinson.
Danger, for all who enter. Anyway. Doom!
Right.
Lots of doom! Okay. So the Vulcan hello. Just the way it starts, you immediately, it has that swell of the classic Trek music that you're like, I'm home again. That just feeling that it gives you when it swells up. I loved that. It's beautiful, obviously.
The scenery. Oh my God.
The way it opens, though, they're in a desert.
And even the desert is pretty.
It is.
That's what...
It felt like... no offense. I know some of you are very against mixing or talking about Star Trek and Star Wars in the same breath, but I will tell you...
I was about to say...
It mimicked, for me, with Star Wars, how it opens in, Tatooine.
Yes.
with
because it was so
Luke and
all the dirt in the sand.
Yes, and
just with no sand people. Well, actually, a little bit.
And the power converters. Anyway, sorry. I can't help it. It really reminded me of that scene.
And I'm really glad that you're better with details because I remember a few things, so we're gonna mix
because I know,
because I was gonna say I know you're gonna fill in what I don't remember. So,
but okay, so we see them, and I guess a lot of people felt like it was superfluous, it wasn't needed, it was fluff. Like, why is this even in here? This scene, but it gives you like kind of like you get to feel the bond between between Captain. I'm so sorry. I wrote down her name and it just went out of my head. Is it Philippa?
Philippa Shinjo?
Yes, or no, the Shinjo. Shinjo is the ship. It's Philippa Giorgio, I think, or something like Giorgio or something like that.
Yes, that's what it was.
I remember because it reminded me of a poet. Anyway, but so you get the feeling of their bond that they have, that they're close, that they can kind of rely on each other, and that they have this camaraderie, if you will. And you also it gives you a chance to kind of meet the characters in like a non-formal, like they're not on the ship, they're out in like a survival territory.
Just kind of bantering with each other.
Yeah,
really.
Just kind of like their natural banter.
Well, they're on a recovery mission to get water because there was a drought.
Yeah, and the well was... And
they're actually putting themselves in danger to save all these people because there was a storm.
And knocked out the well that gave them water.
Right, and if they had not gotten out in time, the storm basically the ship wouldn't have been able to get them back, and they would have died out there.
And you kind of see one of the alien inhabitants,
Giorgio.
Like, that's what I thought. Okay,
Giorgio. Yeah, you had it.
Okay, woo, woohoo! Saved by the Google.
Sorry,
saved by the Google.
I had to know.
It's fine. No, you're fine. That's fine. That's what we do here on the Nerdettes. If we don't have the answer, we find it. So. But yeah, I liked the scene just simply because you do get to meet these people and kind of see their relationship and how they are with each other. And then we meet the Klingons, and here's where there was a lot of pushback. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about this because, first of all, there's a lot of flack because they're dark-skinned. Now, with Klingons, if you don't know, they do have a different like caste system. There are different like clans, different types, and like there's the warrior, Klingons. There's a lot of different like families, and so it's, there's that. And at the same time, if you remember from, I think it was the Malloy era or arc, they had the disease that made them dark, or virus, disease, I don't know how you want to put it, but anyways, that made them this kind of dark color. So I don't know, I feel like it's meant to be in direct reference of that. I don't know, probably. If you know, let me know, because I mean they didn't really come out and say that, but
no, they didn't.
That could be what they're aiming for with this. But a lot of people are like, these are not Klingons. Now, with the previous Trek series, again, we talked about carbon copies. They have kind of mimicked that same version that you get with the original and with the Next Generation of that type of, Klingon that you're used to seeing. They don't really change it up so much. So introducing this new kind of look that you're not really used to seeing, a lot of people are like, no, this is not the Klingons of old. This is new. So I don't know. I mean, I like kind of what they're doing with it. I mean, they delve immediately right into a war. I mean, it just bang, bang, bang. We're at war. Like
within the first episode, really.
It's it 6 seconds. 1 to 100 miles per hour. We're at war right now. So it's like I don't know. It's. I don't know.
It was an augment virus for the Klingon. I had to look that up. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Anytime you say something and you say I'm not sure, or if I do it, I have to know.
No, you're fine. And I remembered it was the virus. I couldn't remember the name of it, so thank you.
Kuvat.
It's been a while since I've watched the series, so forgive me. But I used to watch it every day, every night with some of my family members. So it's still kind of nostalgic in a way to kind of revisit it yet again. So, because it has been a part of my childhood and life. So, but let's talk a little bit about the uniforms. I like
them.
I love them. I want them so
pretty.
bad.
I know, me too.
The navy with now, of course, based on your rank, they're either gold, like accents and badge, or they're silver. And again, it's based on still the navy, which is a gorgeous navy color. Looks very durable. Not Kevlar, but something very kind of like that canvasy or sweat swicking material type, maybe.
Yeah.
That we see into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond. Even.
Yes.
So kind of like that same material, but maybe like a jersey knit. Not really sure, but it has that same kind of look to it. And
looks really
again,
cool.
Gold or silver based on your rank, of course. And so yeah, I really like the gold personally, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I have some notes on things I wanted to touch on. So I thought it was interesting. Her name is Michael. I actually knew and went to school with a girl named Michael. It's
that
uncommon.
Threw me off a lot.
It is uncommon, but it is out there. It's like guys that are named Ashley. It's very interesting to see kind of like the multiplicity of the name usages. So I mean
I've met guys with girl names, but I've never met a girl named Michael. I've met guys named Leslie, Lindsay.
It was funny when I read that the first officer, number 1 or whatever you want to call it, was named Michael. I was like, I was expecting this guy, and nope, it's Sinequa.
Right.
So,
I was like, okay.
I was happy. I mean,
I just went along with it.
Yeah. And so basically, they come into contact. They go back on the ship after you kind of see the Klingons, and the main kind of Takuma. He's the one, like the leader, and it opens with him talking about how all the message that these other outer rim or outer space, humans especially use is "we come in peace." That's like this big saying when they don't really come in peace. It's actually always at war, which kind of reminds me of that Patrick Henry speech. Anyway, sorry, random history allusion there.
Well, but I mean, and he does kind of sort of have a point in a way, because I mean, it's
not really peace. There's always, and sometimes maybe they do have their best intentions. Who are we to say or judge, of course, but right. He basically says they have one, saying that is always just a foretelling of something bad to come, which is "we come in peace." So,
and that was the only thing he said in English, which I thought that kind of emphasized how
chills.
Bad they take that. Yeah, that is, and that to them is a threat.
I mean, Klingons are pretty guttural with their language anyway, but just that saying "we come in peace."
Yeah, that was
enunciating every word.
Yeah.
Just
it was creepy. But it's I thought they did a really good job at making them look really scary. So, I'll be honest.
And I didn't even realize that they were. I mean, at first I was like, is that a Klingon? Is that meant to be a Klingon? I
kind of assumed it was.
My brain, I wasn't quite sure where.
And
they
then
were
he started
going,
talking.
But it was,
I was like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. But so it shows the ship encountering. Basically, it looks like some sort of something in space. It looks almost like a relic or maybe an artifact of some kind. It's huge, so they want to go investigate it, and it's in the middle of a lot of debris, and so they're like, okay, how can we look at this? We can't pull it in because that'll draw the debris into the ship. We can't scan it as far away as it is. So what?
And it was emitting a static field or something to where they could not read it.
Right, and so First Officer Michael offers to go out and look at it herself
with a jetpack.
With a jetpack, yeah. So she goes out. She's basically she needs to do a flyby, for lack of a better word. Mm-hmm. Because she's not going to have a lot of air. She's going to get radiation.
Was the main worry, because she would have. They gave her 20 minutes before she would go unconscious.
Right, and so she goes out to this relic, and as she gets closer, I mean, It is very intricate, very very, very detailed, lots of engravings and just really beautiful script and design, and just, the curvature, the carving, the way it's like, it's just so elaborate, and very obviously this is very well loved, very ancient in origin, and just, she herself is awed by it, and she decides to land on it, and the minute she does, it triggers like this self kind of, I don't know what you call it. Like I guess it's like a house alarm,
like a beacon,
or just like it's almost like a trigger. Like you set off a reaction, obviously, and
I guess like a silent alarm would be a better way, because like nothing actually, like you don't hear or see anything,
these things come up. So she's here, right. the platform edges do this. She's not exactly trapped in, like there's spaces between, but they come up almost like a palm of a hand, if you will. Right. I don't know, but so she's looking around and she's documenting this to her Jarvis, I guess, basically, if you will.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it tells her there's a proximity alert of someone in her proximity. She turns, and voila, there's a Vulcan
giant Vulcan warrior,
who it turns out is his sacred duty to guard this relic. He is the
Klingon warrior.
Yeah, it's a Klingon warrior, and he tries to stab her with his sword, or I'm not exactly sure what the technical term would be for you guys.
I don't know.
His blade, there you go. And instead of getting her, she, with her momentum, with the jetpack, she actually drives it into him.
Yeah.
So, and
because she was trying to get away.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of self-defense, accidental, but mostly self-defense type maneuver, and it ends up stabbing him instead. So she kind of, her screen is damaged on her visor of her spacesuit, and she's propelled backwards and tumbles through this space, and I don't know how they eventually get her.
I don't know either, because they're and while all this is happening, she has no communication with the ship. They're trying to establish it. They can't.
Luckily, they finally pick her up on radar, because when she actually gets to the relic, they don't even she's so far off, they don't pick her up on the radar that's going off. So she finally floats back enough close to the ship to be within their ability to pick her up. So I'm going to assume they somehow were able to phase her in or something.
Yeah, because they just all, she's just magically in sickbay. They don't show you anything. Just the captain is I need you to get her back on the ship. And so they're trying, and then all of a sudden she's in sickbay.
Yeah, and it's so she's back in the USS Shinjo, and she's having these flashbacks of when she was raised by Vulcans. And it has her as a child in this lab, in almost like a chamber. If you've seen Stranger Things, it's like a stasis chamber, and she is joined by these other children as well. And it shows
the other children Vulcan too, or I think she was the only human. I don't really know.
You can't really tell their physical.
That's
there are
true.
other Vulcans, but you can't really tell their physical features whenever they're in the stasis chambers, obviously. But in the classroom, it shows her kind of being very smart and able to answer these questions in a blink of an eye. And the system, it shows you anytime she gets an answer wrong, it gives you just a bare minimum of 3 seconds to answer, and if you go past that, it docks you. And it shows the ambassador of the Vulcans, who you kind of get the feeling is the one that was mainly looking over her health and her raising and her education, without that kind of parental feeling or emotion, but you do get that kind of, there is still kind of, for lack of a better word, some sort of a bond, because you're raised by these people. So, and you kind of get that more later.
Well, they kind of explain more about that, so...
Yeah. So, she basically is very worried, because she recognizes that this creature is Klingon.
Yep. And at this point, they hadn't been seen for over 100 years, so everybody assumes they're either extinct or just gone and never coming back. Basically, that's been Starfleet's assumption, is that they're not a problem anymore. We're never going to see them again. They're gone. Bye.
And she knows that there are more out there, and they finally figure out that there are, and they try to get in contact with them. And of course, First Officer Michael's first thought is she wants to. She's afraid of what they're capable of. She actually chooses to consult with her. The Vulcan that kind of raised her,
guardian, I guess.
Yeah. And he said that he actually reveals that in the past, the Vulcans had an interaction with the Klingons. The Vulcans fired first and fired hard, and through that and through the ongoing, it gathered respect, and almost like, you are brave enough, and almost like kind of maybe even reckless enough,
like you're our equal, because you're basically like you're standing up to them and they respect you for it somehow. Like it's
you're showing mentality. Your power and your aggression, and it's like they can respect the fact that you are doing that.
Yeah, which is very strange logic, but apparently, he tells her that that's what worked for them, and they were able to use that to kind of bridge, between and make peace.
Have a form of peace.
Peace-ish.
Right.
And as much peace as you can have with the
Klingons. But, yeah, their natural inclination is to go to war. The Klingons are. So
that's all Klingons do, basically.
Michael knows this, and she says we need to fire first. We need to hit them in the neck where it's going to hurt the most.
Yep.
Fire what we've got, and...
Just keep going.
She talks to the captain, and the captain's like, no, we need to try to communicate first, because she's of the mind, let's talk. We can talk it out, And with Vulcans, there's not much talking.
With Klingons, it's just...
With the Vulcans, there's not much talking either. They just immediately...
That is very true. Vulcans don't really... Because that's emotional to them.
Right. So, but for humans, it's different. Their natural inclination is to, let's talk it out, and to reason. And with the Vulcans, they didn't have that, so the Klingons respected that, but since the humans are more, let's talk it out, let's kind of... we can work this
through.
To
be fair, if you are not under attack and you have not been threatened, that is a logical response. Right. But given the history of the Klingons, and I think the captain used the excuse that, none of them have been seen in so long, as to why, we don't need to fight them, we don't need to go.
And it's our... territory. Even.
Right, yeah, they were still in Starfleet territory. It was the edge, but it was still Starfleet territory. And I think what she was telling her is, we don't fire first no matter what. Because that's just how Starfleet is. That's their guidelines. You do not ever fire first under any circumstance.
Like, that's ridiculous. So she actually performs a Vulcan neck pinch.
Which everybody probably, I know I was like, oh my god, why did you do that?
Well, and the fact that she's even capable of doing that without being like an actual
true Vulcan. Yeah, that alone.
That startled me. That surprised me.
And that's why I'm saying she's so smart. I'm afraid it's going to be dangerous later, because, look what she was already able to do.
Right, and
she's human. She's not.
Yeah, and she tries to have that same lack of emotion, but you can tell.
Oh, well, clearly, because she cries, and she's able to, she thinks she thinks with feelings, because her mentor told her it's not you, it's your human heart, because the human heart that's basically the only thing that stands between her and being a true Vulcan, I think, because she's so close to it already, which is interesting with her not being.
So during this time, the Vulcans have determined that they're fellow that she's in need, and they kind of counsel them, but there's only so much they can do, and of course somehow they already kind of know that they're not really surprised that the Klingons are back. So that's kind of interesting too.
Yeah, it's like they foresaw it somehow or something. And then you also find out that her and her mentor have that.
That's
they have
second episode. Episode.
Sorry.
Spoilers. Anyway, you didn't hear that. Anyway, so
I didn't think that would be a spoiler. They showed that in the first one, I thought.
Well, they have a kind of connection. Like he actually kind of phases into her room. because she opens up a channel to the Vulcans, and he's able to talk to her there.
Okay.
So, which is cool.
Yeah, because I was fixing to say, I was like, wait.
Yeah, but basically, it goes back to the Klingons. They've determined that their fellow man is killed, and immediately they need to find a replacement to be the chosen one, if you will, to watch over it. This non-dark, almost I guess what you would call albino.
I guess in their
Klingon,
sense,
in their sense, comes forward, and he's looked down upon by the race of Klingon, or the fellow Klingons, because you're not as good. You don't have this family line. You don't have the same blood. Right. That has run through this warrior, and his brother, you can tell he doesn't want to take the post, so it does eventually fall to this man Klingon, who is more than willing and does abide by the teachings and the thoughts of the leader.
What was their be Klingon?
Well, yeah.
Like, what was that motto that they kept saying? Like, just always be Klingon or something like that. Like, basically, just basically saying,
stay
like,
Klingon, always
stay Klingon. Yeah, and like basically saying that they were gonna. I don't know. To me, that's like the warrior mentality. Like they're gonna
maintain your same nature, and we will always prevail. Like we are the master race. Like kind of getting a little bit scary and. So basically, you see them put him to rest, and they bury him, so to speak. They put him in like a pod, and they use this as like the outer decoration on their ship.
Yeah, it's either decoration or a shield. I can't tell.
It's like a coffin of sorts, and
they said it was like a honeycomb structure.
Yes, like a honeycomb structure, and they put him on the outside of the ship, so you get to see that. And they call out, basically, they send out a message and a beacon to their fellow Klingons from the 24 families saying, come to us, we need your backup, this is war, and we need to finally do what we're meant to do and take over and get our space back, because they feel like the Starfleet has taken over what should be theirs by right, and so eventually you do see 24 ships total arrive, and
let me tell you, that is very terrifying.
And it is scary because this is not something that typically happens. It's surprising to see all the families respond to the call for arms.
And not to mention, before this point, they were undetected. They were cloaked. This had never, and they mentioned several times, right? Which that guy could. Takuma or whatever, he developed it. Like, he even says that he came up with it. He found a way to do that. And I know the captain on the Starfleet ship was saying that never happened. They were like, we'd never seen... Because, I mean, they didn't even know the ship was there.
No, they never detected it. So
yeah, it was crazy.
So here they are. There's finally a bunch of ships joining them, and that's actually how the first episode ends. Is like this
they big just start all phasing.
They all phase into.
And you remember how they got them to do that though? She said to lock on to the artifact, like they were gonna destroy it, and as soon as they did, everybody.
Well, that first one came in first.
Well, and then the rest of them just
joined quickly thereafter.
Oh my! It was so that was intense
to show themselves, because Michael knows that they're there somewhere. They don't know exactly where.
Well, and she had a feeling. She knew that whatever that thing was important to them somehow, because she was like, obviously somebody was guarding it. There was a warrior there.
Oh, and also how it ends is they say that First Officer Michael is going to be taken to the Brig because for mutiny. And for basically making an attempt of a brutal nature on a high-ranking officer.
The Vulcan.
Yes, because she did the Vulcan neck pinch. So they basically say, you're going in the Brig, and bye.
Yeah.
And so of course she's pleading to the captain, because she's like, no, this is absurd. I did it for, the good of us, trying to save us.
Yeah.
And the captain has to treat her like she would any other person in the ship and send her to the Brig. So that's also how it ends. And that was the Vulcan hello. And
and that's what they I guess a little bit of explanation going back to what we were saying first, when the when the Vulcans encountered the Klingons, they fired first, and they called that a Vulcan hello.
The Vulcan hello.
And so that's where we get the whole name. Like, that's what she was explaining to the captain. Like, we need to give them a Vulcan hello. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that was badass.
Yes.
Like, the way that she... And for her to challenge... And I don't really think they touched on this enough. For her status being what it was, for her to challenge a captain... to begin with, like, for her to even question her like she did was pretty big deal, because Captain flipped out on her. Yeah. And that's why she did the neck pinch, because she was like, okay, you're not going to listen to me. Right, in front of the whole ship. Yeah. And she was like, this is not, she's like, I don't know what's going on with you, but this is not okay. And so then that's when she decided, okay, well, you're not going to listen to me, so, yeah. And this is very unlike her, because if you watch the whole episode, you see their relationship, it's not like that at all. And so it's very, like, it kind of makes you understand how scared she is, because, I mean, she's kind of completely changing all in one episode. Yeah. Like, their relationship and her demeanor and everything.
Well, and you kind of learn her, a little bit, her emotion, her nature, her kind of mindset to... be like a Vulcan, but at the same time react in such a way where she's still being very protective.
Right. She wants to be Vulcan in the sense that she wants to be quick and intelligent, but she still has the human emotions, and I don't think that she ever wanted to not have that.
And part of a war, like in Sun Tzu and many other literature based, I guess different things out there, that is one of the things, is you want to outwit your opponent and, attack first. If you have the opportunity, attack of opportunity for all you D&D people. Because if you get the upper hand, you get the respect, you get kind of like, you kind of have that advantage in any type of war or battle scenario. So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a great way to start the series, because you definitely want to watch the next one. You don't want to stop. So, and
it moved kind of fast, because you always hear people complain, and I bet you this is why they did that, because people always complain it's so slow, it's too slow.
And what's funny is I think that's also why that a lot of people complain about the desert scene, is because it is so fast. After that, it's like, why was this needed? Because it went so fast.
It establishes, first of all, it establishes the fact that she is willing to put herself in danger to help other people, and it establishes the relationship between her and the captain.
Which makes it even more of a shock that she was still centered to the brig, and even that Michael would do the neck pinch on her.
Well, right.
There's a lot of things that kind of, like, sets you up to, like,
and what? I think people just don't get, and they have this complaint, I hear this complaint with almost every single show, honestly, anytime, is they do not... They want information, but they don't want the backstory. And I'm like, you can't have both. If you've got to just hang in there and pay attention to what they're telling you.
Right. And
they're showing you for a reason.
And I apologize. I know we're at 42 minutes on this review.
Oh, Lord.
So we're going to, just cut it short, because obviously the episode itself is 45 minutes to an hour.
I know.
I'm so sorry. We have so much to talk about with
We're just excited.
We're excited.
I loved it.
And I loved it too. But yeah, just... Again, if you haven't already, please definitely subscribe to our YouTube.
Please
like us on YouTube. Yes, like the video on YouTube.
I was like us on Facebook.
With facebook.com/Nerdettes. We're going to do more reviews, more unboxings.
Yay!
There's going to be a giveaway announcement here tonight, and many other awesome things. So definitely subscribe. Thank you for watching. Again, thank you for sticking with us if you're still with us for this length. And
sorry.
It's okay.
TLDR.
But we live long and prosper.
I wish I could do that. I can't do that. I try and fail miserably.
I have to maneuver in such a way that's like...
Somebody told me to try using both hands if you can't do it with your dominant hand. Yeah. And it just doesn't help.
I can't do it with my dominant hand.
This is close second. This is close second. Ain't gonna happen.
But yeah, so thank you guys, and we'll see you later. Bye.